Hi everybody, Michael here, Flesh of the Father. Today's video I'm going to explain the dangers of political Christianity. Let's go. Okay, so recently I've been pondering the rise of Christianity and thinking whether it's good or bad. And if you follow the channel, you'll know that I like Christ's teachings when you understand it mystically, but I'm not a fan of dogmatic religion, especially when Christianity is false and doesn't make any sense. And whilst it is false, it doesn't mean that there aren't elements of truth and that Christianity is generally a force for good in the world, especially when, in comparison, we have leftism and Islam. Obviously, Christianity is a better alternative. And that's why I'm torn, because there's a rise of Christianity, but again, Christianity is not the truth, and only the truth can set us free. And I've been trying to figure out what's wrong with this Christianity. There's something that's not comfortable, that I'm feeling comfortable with it. It feels fake. And if you look at a lot of the conservative Christians, it is. And it is the likes of Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson has been speaking about it lately. And you've even been seeing a lot of political channels are saying, oh, it's good, there's a return to Christianity. And everybody's talking about it. Christ is king and I'm going back to church and all this stuff. And people seem to think it's a good thing. And I think it's 50-50. It's partly good because, as I said, Christianity is better than Islam and leftism. But it's also bad on the other side because it's not truth. And to win this battle, we need the power of the Spirit, not the power of Christianity. The power of Christ, not the power of religion. And I understand that to some people that may sound contradictory, that when I'm saying Christianity is wrong, but Christ is right, how do you come to that conclusion? And that's because what we need is a mystical understanding of Christianity. And basically the meaning of mystical is not some guy who makes predictions and all that stuff. The mystic meaning really is, or the official meaning is, that you seek God and have a relationship with God through the transcendent, through the spiritual, not through the intellect. So you do it through the Spirit. And this is what Christ talked about when he said you need to be born again of the Spirit. And what Christ spoke of and what I'm saying about mystically, it ties up with all of the Eastern traditions in Hinduism and Buddhism, and it also ties in with the mystic versions within the Abrahamic faiths. So there's a lot of mystic Christians who I agree with and mystic Jews who I agree with. And even in Islam, you have Sufism, and it's about knowing God through the Spirit rather than just what's written in a book. Even if there's a lot of truth that can be written in some of the texts, it's better to understand it through your spirit than purely through the intellect. For an example, you don't go out and murder people and rape people because you understand your spirit tells you it's wrong and immoral. You don't do it because it's written in a book in the 10 Commandments not to do it. The better way is to know it within yourself rather than having a book. Now, what I press for is I want Christianity to be reformed, so it's looked at mystically. So if I was in charge, let's say I got put in charge of the Church of England, I would make Christianity a mystic version and teach Christianity the way that myself and all the other mystics have talked about it. Not that I'm a mystic, but the actual mystics in Christian theology in the past, what they've spoke of. I would teach Christianity that way. And it would have some actual real spirit to the religion rather than just be spiritless. And that's what I realized the problem is, that Christianity and all these political people, it's become a political proclamation rather than anything spiritual. So this rise of Christianity has nothing to do with God, Spirit and Christ. People are only interested in Christianity as part of their politics. So when they shout, Christ is king, it's a political message to counteract leftism and Islam. But it's not anything to do with understanding the truth and love of Christ and the Father. And I was looking up Alan Watts' thoughts because he's a philosopher who says some good things. And there's a quote that summed it up perfectly, what I was thinking of, and I'm going to play that quote now. A Christianity which is not basically mystical must become either a political ideology or a mindless fundamentalism. God is the most obvious thing in the world. He is absolutely self-evident, the simplest, clearest and closest reality of life and consciousness. So as you can see, I agree completely with Alan Watts. This is what modern Christianity is. It is a political movement rather than a spiritual movement. And that's where Christianity is failing in our modern world. If there's going to be a revival of Christianity, it will fail because it's a political message rather than a spiritual message or movement. And I think this is the problem in our world today, is people put politics above everything. They put politics above God and Christ. And that's where we're failing. What we need to do is put God and Christ above politics. Because what happens when you put politics above God and Christ and truth, you have what happens with the extreme left murdering Charlie Kirk and the rise of the extreme right who go on about the Jews all day and promote National Socialism. So it descends into madness, and we'll lose our humanity. And as you can see, the whole world has gone insane because it's all about politics. And this is the goal of the globalists, because in global communism and Marxism and ideological subversion, the goal is to make everything political and to remove God from society. So essentially, the far left are the problem, but the far right National Socialists and also the Christian fundamentalists are not the answer. And I think the Christian conservatives do a good job of pushing back, even though they're not the answer. What we need is first and foremost a spiritual movement based on the mystical knowing of God and Christ and the true love of God. And then it gives spiritual power to it. And that's why Jesus Christ's message had so much power, is because it had spirit behind it. It wasn't just words in a book. And to finish the video, I just want to talk about, if you look at the dangers of Christian fundamentalism, and if you look at the likes of Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes and a lot of these ones, they're absolutely insane. Tucker Carlson. You know, I never watch Candace Owens that much other than the odd clips on X when I sometimes go on it. And I saw the first 15 minutes of a live stream last night. It flashed up on my YouTube homepage. So I thought, let me watch some of this. And honestly, she seemed absolutely insane. You know those women with crazy eyes. She sat there like a little snaky Satan going, oh, well, Charlie Kirk was died, and a week before he may have said something about Israel, and going on about the Jews the whole time, about how the Jews killed Charlie Kirk. It made no sense. And it's because her Christianity is based on political and false ideology. And in her sect of Catholicism, or whatever it is, it's basically makes out that the Jews are evil, they're Antichrist, a load of rubbish, basically. And women like Candace Owens and a lot of these Christians, they're not interested in God and Christ. It's all about politics, and it's all about how much money they can make on YouTube, and it's all about a grift. There's no love of God or anything, because they contradict Christ anyway. Because all these Jew haters, what did Christ said? Christ said, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. And also, they should like the Jews, because if the Jews didn't kill Jesus, then there would be no atonement, and everybody in the world would be condemned to hell forever, because according to Christianity, Jesus was a blood sacrifice. So if the Jews didn't kill Jesus, then they wouldn't be saved. So they should be thanking the Jews, if anything. And also, did Jesus not say, nobody kills me, I give up my own life? So Jesus himself said, nobody kills me, I lay down my life for you. That's the Christian story. I don't believe in it. But if Christians believe in their own story, then the fact that they hate and promote so much hateness to the Jews, they contradict your own religion. Because Jesus told you to forgive, he told you not to hate, and he said that I lay down my life, nobody kills me. So you'll completely contradict your own Lord and Saviour that you call Jesus. But as I say, these people have a surface level knowledge of religion, and it's just a political tool, much like Islam. You know, a lot of people are saying recently that Islam shouldn't be a religion. It should be labelled as a political ideology, because it's a fundamentalist political ideology to take over the world, much like communism. And that's essentially what fundamentalist Christianity is about. If it doesn't have any mysticism to it, then it's basically just a political ideology, much like Islam and Sharia law. Okay, so that's the point of my video today. I've just been pondering this lately on why these Christian conservatives are mental. And actually, before I finish, there was another one of Tucker Carlson goes on about these people being insane. And I remember seeing a video a few months ago of Tucker Carlson. He was talking about how he was attacked by a demon. And it's like, I don't know, Christianity makes people go paranoid and slightly insane if they go down the wrong rabbit holes. He was literally saying, I was in bed and I woke up with scratches. I was scratched by a demon. There was blood down him. And then in the same sentence, he says, yeah, in my room, the dogs sleep in my room. And it's like, well, obviously your dog scratched you, and that's what caused it. It wasn't a blimmin' demon who physically scratched you and caused you to have blood. And I was like, Tucker Carlson is another one. Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, they're going insane. And I think there is a Jewish derangement syndrome, that these people want to blame the Jews for everything. Charlie Kirk died, it's the Jews. Anything happens, it's the Jews. And ironically, the Jews killed Charlie Kirk, who was a massive supporter, but they allow Tucker Carlson, Dan Bilzerian, Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, the harshest critics. They don't take them out. No, they take out Charlie Kirk for some bizarre reason, but there'll be always a way that they can spin it to blame the Jews, because it's part of Christian fundamentalism where they have to hate the Jews, despite the fact that they contradict their own Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ, who, as I explained, taught them about forgiveness and all that. But anyway, that's the point of my video today. I just wanted to explain why I am against Christian fundamentalism. I actually promote Christian mysticism, and I would like to see a reformation of Christianity, because we do have the structures and churches in place. I mean, if you put someone like me in charge of the Church of England, we could have a true revival and actual answers that are going to transcend the political dialogue and overcome the problems, because the answer to our problems is not left or right. The answer is upwards towards God. And you can only go towards God through Christ, not through Jesus, but through Christ's Spirit, mystically. And once we return to that, we have the power of the Spirit to overcome our problems. Rather than when you're stuck on the left and right divide, Satan will run rings around everybody and make you look like fools. And, you know, people say the far left are mental, but the right are just as mental. As I said, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, all these other whack jobs, they're just as insane as the left. So we need to move up, return to God, reclaim our sensibleness, and then we can restore order on our planet with the power of the Spirit. Okay? So please share this with as many people as you can who are fed up with the world, because I believe what I'm talking about is the truth and it is the solutions rather than all the madness in the world. And at this time in our world, we need to listen to the sensible people, not the whack jobs. You know, why has Candace Owens got 6 million subscribers? She's a total loon bag. And you're listening to a psycho like that rather than someone like me who's got, I don't know, I can't remember what was it. I don't even know how many subscribers. I haven't really been checking, 1,000 subscribers or whatever. So if we flip that around, then if you have people like me with the more subscribers who doesn't monetize their channel, because I don't want it to be about clout. What God has given me for free, I give out for free. So I will never monetize my YouTube channel, just to make sure that I do things out of truth and I'm not manipulated to do anything out of money like all these fake people are, because that's what they care about. They don't love God or Christ. They love their ego, their money, and the fame. Okay, I've whittled on too long now anyway. So God bless everybody. Stay well. Subscribe if you're new. Like it, share it. God bless everybody. Goodbye.